Welcome to the NitWits, a weekly roundtable discussion on the Penn State Nittany Lions, now in its 28th season. Our panel features a longtime Penn State media and NitWits tag team, Neil Rudell of the Altoona Mirror and Mark Brennan of Lions 24/7 with Fight on State. And each week we welcome a former Nittany Lion as our special guest analyst. The NitWits are brought to you by Irwin Financial, Raymond James, a firm foundation for your financial future. By Reed and Solani Orthodontics, providing friendly, family-focused orthodontic care in Altoona, Bedford, and Huntington. By Kogan Electric, lighting the way for you. By Blair Candy Company, the one-stop shop for all your tailgating needs. Candy, snacks, paper supplies, and more. By Dorman's Jewelry, the answer is always Dorman's. By Harry's Construction, if you can dream it, we can create it. By DeLeo Games, serving the community since 1945. By Keller Engineers, delivering results, exceeding expectations. By Lions 24/7 with Fight on State, your online home for Penn State football and recruiting coverage. And by the Altoona Mirror, featuring Penn State Game Day every Friday and Penn State Extra every Monday.
What I'm doing, getting right to it. The money is talking, I'm flowing, it's coming in just how I do it. Yeah, you know what it is. We doing it big. Look up, there is no limit, no, we cannot settle for this. Yeah, can't stop, nah, won't stop. Yeah, spin on live. You don't believe it, just watch.
Welcome to Nittany Nation Overtime. We are the NitWits. Long trip to Iowa. Appreciate the short night and turnaround. Keith Conlin is our guest. Keith, great to see you. You've been a friend of the show, and
many years.
It's always fun to have you here.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. So I'm not going to sit on your lap tonight, but we're gonna. We have a lot to do. If you notice, our open has been updated, and that's because the Penn State coaching staff has been updated since we last were here. But we're going to start. We're going to get to the James Franklin transition, but we're going to start with the game at Iowa, 25-24. The Nittany Lions found another way to lose. They've lost 4 in a row now, heading into the open date, and just really kind of a wrecked season. What was your major takeaway in Terry Smith's debut as the interim coach?
Yeah, I want to start on a positive. Terry Smith put in a very difficult situation, and he promised us before the game that team was going to play hard and play with heart, and I think it did. It would have been very easy after Franklin was fired, and we heard about the disappointment for this team to completely fall apart, for guys to leave. They didn't do that. He kept them together. They went out to a place that's been very difficult for Penn State to play, even the very best Penn State teams, and we're right there. So all the credit to Terry, but overall, the theme of the season continues where the good teams find ways to win, the struggling teams find ways to lose.
Keith, what did you take away?
Well, I mean, the effort that these kids put in last night was absolutely phenomenal. That's 100% on Terry Smith, how he got those guys going. That's the effort I wanted to see at Northwestern.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we'll get into of why we lost, why James Franklin was fired and let go from his position. And that was, I remember saying on my radio show that if their team does not come out and show some pride, emotion, love, like toughness, everything that we showed against Iowa that Terry had talked about when he had those guys doing, I wanted to see versus Northwestern, and we didn't see it. So we'll get into the change. I support the change, but Terry did an unbelievable job getting those guys going. I mean, historically, I had played there. I played out there twice. I coached out there a couple times. Stories are just phenomenal of just how close the fans are to you and how loud they are, and they're crazy.
Yep. And at night, felt bad for Terry. You could see he put his heart and soul into it. There is such a fine line between winning and losing, not just last night, but the whole season. Whether you're talking about a knee down or last night it was a case of potentially a drop ball in the end zone that could have put them up 28-19. It's just, I like the way they played loose, took chances, were a little bit more relaxed. In James's team, let's face it, they've been very tight, especially this year. But I liked some of the things. They played 2 quarterbacks. They committed to Allen. Not everything they did worked, but I thought that they played a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah, you get yourself a 21-10 lead, and that was a big part of it. A huge special teams play. They didn't play perfect, but they started to feed Katron Allen, which surprise. I mean, I think some people may have been asking for that for weeks and weeks and weeks. Terry finally did it. But the theme from the Franklin era, and I know we're just very shortly removed from it, is not making plays in the clutch. I mean, the other team always seems to be the team that does it. And for Penn State, it's like you have to pick your poison. How is it going to happen in a particular game? This time, again, Jim Knowles' defense can't stop a running quarterback. Yep. The offense puts together a really good drive in the fourth quarter, but overall in the second half, you score 3 points after having 21. So, yeah, I love the heart. I loved all of those things, but it's almost as if it's ingrained. And does the bye week help, maybe move on from some of that? I don't know, but, they're in a tough spot.
How do you assess, I just think the defense, the talent is better than what we've seen. They just don't close out games and situations.
I mean, that's like Mark said, I was like, somebody on offense needed to step up and make a play last night, and somebody on defense specifically needed to step up and make a play. But we've been waiting for those people all year.
Yeah.
It seems like that's been the running, nobody is stepping up to make plays. I was talking to Mark on the way down here, and I don't know what the makeup of the locker room is. It's changed.
Yeah.
This is going to sound crazy, but are the leaders the guy who get the most money? Or is the leader the guy the best on the team? Or is the leader the guy who is the best leader of the team? So the dynamics of this team is like, I can't get a feel or read for it because we're not there that close to it. But you have to start thinking what is going on, that like, are they just happy with where they're at right now and satisfied? Because no one seems to be like it. And then Terry said the other day in his opening press conference, the ball's just not bouncing our way. It bounced our way on that block kick last night. Mm-hmm. And it was like, okay, this is it. Okay, the ball's bouncing our way. And then we didn't really add on to that from after that happening. We should have all that momentum going into the halftime.
Some questionable calls on offense, too. I did not like the Luke Reynolds situation where they ran him on 4th and 1. You have Katron there. They were trying to trick them. Why does the team try to trick them? Because they can't line up and
But we
make
both like them going for it on 4th down, right?
Yeah.
It's just a play call.
Right. Okay, we're going to jump out for our first break and be back here on Nittany Nation Overtime right after this.
The Nitwits are being brought to you by Irwin Financial Raymond James, a firm foundation for your financial future. By Reed and Salaney Orthodontics, providing friendly, family-focused orthodontic care in Altoona, Bedford, and Huntingdon. And by Kogan Electric, lighting the way for you.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime.
Keith Conlin, our special guest, and appreciate that. So why don't we start?
That's the old Keith Conlin right there. That picture right there, buddy.
Why don't we start with you, Keith?
Yeah.
Since we last convened, James has been dismissed. Even though there was a lot of noise leading after the Northwestern games, I still think the shock of it mid-season, and it's been a big trend. Penn State's part of it now nationally. Billy Napier got whacked today.
When's he on game day?
Yeah. So what was your reaction? First of all, the firing.
The firing. I had expressed my concerns that I did in the last segment. Was I was on my radio show and I did say on the Thursday before the Northwestern game, if I did not see what I wanted to see, then I said blow it up. Just cut the cord, pull the Band-Aid off as fast as you can because you're just hemorrhaging and you're bleeding out right now. James did great stuff for us, and I remember I reached out to him and I said, thank you for all you've done. You came at a dark time, and it was we love Bill O'Brien. We love Bill O'Brien to death, and I will go to my grave saying that Bill O'Brien saved this program, saved State College in general. But, James came at the worst time of the sanctions, when we had the least scholarships and the least recruits, and he built it up to where we're at right now, where we're actually being talked in national title, talked about. But with that being said, with everything that was talked about this year, then how they played, it was just like, it's just not happening. Because I was on a team that Joe lost, and that was in 1992, my freshman year. And it was like, these guys were more worried about their future than they were worried about Penn State. And it just seemed that this team was going down that route. But it's not the first time that happened to James. This is at least the third, possibly fourth team that he has lost this way. I mean, in 12 years, that's a ton.
Yeah. Then so the question became, I don't think that many people objected to and I agree with you. I think he was the right guy at the right time for the job, and the next person will benefit from a lot of the things that he did. He represented quite well. He did, we had a good working relationship with him. My question was the timing. Did you have to do that now? I don't like that in college programs, but you a dead man walking, so to speak. The fans had clearly turned on him. It gets you started, and if it's kind of unfair to continue it for another 6 weeks.
But what do you mean a college program? I mean, it's a professional program, right? It's not what it used to be, where coaches had all this space. And they were doing it for the love of the game and that sort of thing. I want to reiterate, or just follow up with what you guys said. What James did for facilities, for improving the number of staffers they had, all of those things. He brought the program up to a level where it's right there. But he wasn't getting over that last hump. I mean, they got fortunate last year to have one of the all-time lucky draws, to get to the cusp of the national title game, and they still couldn't quite get there. So I do think it was time for a change. And the other thing, I mentioned it last week, when we had a sense this was coming, I think they were on the verge of apathy. I think they were on the verge of less people coming. I think they were on the verge of people not willing to pay for NIL, not willing to donate. And people, it wasn't just the booze, it was, I think people were going to start paying or not paying or speaking with their checkbooks. So it was time for a move. I don't know. What would the better time have been? The longer you wait, as Keith said, it's just going to get worse. What was going to happen? They weren't going to win going out to Ohio State, even if they beat Iowa. Then you come back for Indiana, and he's booed out of the place before the game even starts.
Ugly, toxic environment, absolutely. So I guess
we don't have to like it.
You don't have to make your Ohio State pick yet. But
I might be ready.
How you're tipping it off. Okay, James did an interview with ESPN Game Day. We're going to dissect that right after this.
The NitWits are being brought to you by Blair Candy Company, the one-stop shop for all your tailgating needs. Candy, snacks, paper supplies, and more. By Dorman's Jewelry. The answer is always Dorman's. And by Harry's Construction. If you can dream it, we can create it.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime.
Welcome back to Nittany Nation Overtime. We're diving deep into the James Franklin firing and transition. He did go on ESPN on game day. This is basically 5-6 days after it, and he said Penn State was good to him and his family. He made it clear that he intends to coach again. What was your takeaway? Were you surprised he went on? It was kind of a PR, the first interview he had on for whatever job he's seeking.
No, I mean, I think, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but James is very calculated. Everything he does, there's a purpose to it. And again, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, that has served him well in life. And he's very good with the media. And he's very good at getting messaging out there. And I think the messaging here was that he's going to coach again very soon. And anybody who's watching, whether it's current people who are committed to Penn State or players in the Penn State program now. Now, he didn't say this, but I don't think you had to read between the lines. that be ready to come where I'm going. I mean, that's what I took out of it. I don't know if you guys took that out of it. And while I don't mind that overall, I do think if you're going to say that for me it's all about the players, you don't do that when your heartbroken team is out there trying to break out of this winning streak. I know people may say that those guys didn't do anything wrong. You may have a beef with Pat Kraft if you're James, but the players didn't do anything wrong. So I don't know about the timing, but to me now it puts the onus on Penn State to hire somebody before James Franklin gets a job, so that at least the players know who they're getting, and whoever comes in could make their case.
What do you sense is next for him?
He will coach. I mean, that's just his personality. I do want to talk about him going on the game day, and that was he showed himself with a lot of class, as he always has in every aspect of everything he's ever done here. He talked very highly of the student athletes and this and that. I mean, it's what he did. It was calculated. He was very smart in what he did. But yes, it seemed like a recruiting pitch to say, we're going to win a national title somewhere, wherever we go. So it was like he was telling his guys on television, like, I recruited you once, I'm recruiting you again to another school wherever I'm going. And obviously the schools are opening up in Florida, and I'm sure Florida State will be soon. But I mean, James makes no bones about it. He has a house down in Florida. He wants to be in Florida. So in what better place? I mean, you know, Godspeed to him and what's going to go on, and I hope he has great success and wins the national title. That's great. But I do want to thank him for everything he's done here. But I mean, the only issue I had with the game day thing is that the same four guys who have been blasting James for the last 6 years for not winning big games just had their chance. He was sitting right there to ask him what happened in those big games, and it was nothing.
Reese Davis did ask him, would he do anything? If he gets another job, his approach, his big game record, will he alter up? Because he's very much a structure guy. Hey, Saban appeared to be crushed by this news. He shares an agent with James.
Absolutely.
So that was sort of a softball.
How many times at Alabama did Saban lose to a 3-touchdown underdog? And I know I would bet you he never did it in 2 weeks in a row. So, yeah, I mean, it's fine to go out and say that, but realistically speaking, I think if you look very closely at what the Penn State situation was, it wasn't as easy as this guy was just a really good coach and they got rid of him.
Right.
I mean, there was a pattern of losing big games.
Nor am I totally convinced this was like a complete shock to James, because he was able to regroup within 5 days and dust himself off and be on national TV, you know, with a for sale sign. So I don't know. I'm just, and I also don't see him landing. I might be wrong. He might prove me wrong, and I'll congratulate him. But I'll be surprised if he gets the Florida job. Does he want any part of the SEC? He whined and complained about the schedule he had to play here. He wants to play Florida International, not Florida State.
I mean, I understand what you're thinking, but I mean, yeah, the SEC is a bear. There's no doubt about that. And it would be interesting to see if he does get the job, because what fans are going to be happy that James Franklin's going to go there? Because all they're going to point to is the record.
Yeah.
You know, 4-21. I mean, how are they going to? Whoever we hire, we're going to break down and see what they're. You know, well, this is this and this is. You know, so they're going to go after James and say, you know, why are we hiring this guy? Where's the big splash?
I see it more of an ACC type of,
he could dominate,
maybe
the ACC
Florida State, or see what happens with Belichick when that's going to totally explode if it hasn't already. Do you have a feeling about that? You've played with some of these potential candidates.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm a Terry Smith guy through and through. I mean, I played. Terry was a senior when I was a true freshman. Great guy, and then I knew him from when he was coaching at Gateway. He'd come up when I was coaching, you know, and he always went out of his way to come say hi and stuff like that. And you talk about James being a good person, but Terry Smalls is a unbelievably good human being, you know, and he is through and through Penn State. I am on his back the way he had those kids playing. He had 6 days to get those kids ready, from complete losing 3 games in a row, but 2 games to 3 touchdown.
Was Matt Rule a teammate at
Absolutely, yeah. Matt Rule and I are very. I mean, Matt and I are very close. I know that he was at Temple. He would come to my mom and dad, my mother's golf tournament every year. He always paid respect, and you know, we knew each other. I think we played together for 2 or 3 years. And I've always followed his career. I mean, his defensive coordinator is John Butler, a guy I went to high school and grade school and kindergarten with. A lot of guys out there that I know. Big Gus is out there. So, you know, Matt a splash hire.
Goon's the most plugged-in person in the
I know,
world.
it's crazy.
Amen.
I
man.
remember watching the NCAA tournament with Matt Rule when he was the head coach at Temple, at Damon's.
Yeah.
When he was up for a camp, it was me, Goon, and
Yeah,
and
that's when
Rule.
they Pitt, Penn State, and Temple. They had all the coaches. And they had the
It was
coaches
unreal.
in high school.
Okay, we're going to hear about a lot of names in these next few weeks. We'll take our next break and be back right after this.
The NitWits are being brought to you by DeLeo Games, serving the community since 1945. By Keller Engineers, delivering results, exceeding expectations. By Lions 24/7 with Fight On State, your online home for Penn State football and recruiting coverage. And by the Altoona Mirror, featuring Penn State game day every Friday and Penn State Extra every Monday.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime.
Welcome back. The NitWits are here, and there is an open date, so we'll review what their plans are. Also get back. We have our standings. I don't want to shortchange.
Who won?
Brennan
Wow.
moves into a first place tie.
Wow.
I'm on the verge of being mathematically eliminated. They might have to play a bowl game in order for me to.
You may be mathematically eliminated from this show.
Yeah.
As our new host, he has yet to win. Does he deserve a previous host? Last year, our hosts were dominating.
So where's Anderly when we need her? Okay, Ethan Grunkemeyer made his first start. I thought he accounted himself quite well.
Well, you could pronounce his name now, unlike
Grunkemeyer.
last year when,
Right.
when we were doing show. I
Grunk.
do, yeah. I mean, I don't think they asked him to do too much, and he wasn't perfect. The one pick, it was essentially a punt. The other one, did he try to force the ball into traffic a little bit? Maybe. But overall, I thought he played well. What disappointed me is you have a redshirt freshman making your first start. Could somebody step up and make a play for this kid? Could somebody make a tough catch? Could somebody do something? So he wasn't perfect, but we saw Taquan Roberson go out there and be forced into action in a game and not be able to get a playoff. And I thought his game management, I thought all those things were really smooth. I thought it was a good sign moving forward. Again, not perfect, but I think good enough.
Again, we're looking for people to make plays for that kid. I mean, I will say that is probably easily the second toughest place to play in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And that is him going out there for his first start. His coach just got let go 6 days before. I mean, just think about everything that's going on. You don't know what the team's thinking and stuff like that, and then you're the starting quarterback at Iowa right now.
Yeah.
What's the second toughest play? What's the first?
Ohio State.
Yeah.
The shoe.
Yeah. I mean, I thought, Katron Allen made plays for him. He ran tough. But yeah, they just have not come up. I don't understand. The receivers are never really wide open. It's just you make a special teams touchdown. They've blocked 3 kicks in the last 3 weeks. Usually you win those games. So their special teams were uneven, other than that play. I thought.
Find somebody to catch a kickoff. I mean, we're this far into the season, and those type of things are happening. Allowing long returns. It's tough to watch.
Okay, we got an open date next week. We will be back with our Ohio State picks next week. Joe Nastasi. Keith, thank you as always for being here, and appreciate everybody watching. Your long weekend. I got a big dose of you, and we'll see you next week.
The NitWits have been brought to you by Irwin Financial, Raymond James, a firm foundation for your financial future. By Reed and Salaney Orthodontics, providing friendly, family-focused orthodontic care in Altoona, Bedford, and Huntington. By Kogan Electric, lighting the way for you. By Blair Candy Company, the one-stop shop for all your tailgating needs. Candy, snacks, paper supplies, and more. By Dorman's Jewelry, the answer is always Dorman's. By Harry's Construction, if you can dream it, we can create it. By DeLeo Games, serving the community since 1945. By Keller Engineers, delivering results, exceeding expectations. By Lions 24/7 with Fight on State, your online home for Penn State football and recruiting coverage. And by the Altoona Mirror, featuring Penn State Game Day every Friday and Penn State Extra every Monday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.